Thank you for joining us today on the Top Keys. My name is Bharat Patel, and today I have the honor of introducing a good friend from the SBA, the area director. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah. Hey, my name's TylerTeresa. I'm the regional administrator for the SBA for the Southeast. So I cover 8 states from Kentucky, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi.
So all the good SEC football states.
All the good SEC football states. We actually call ourselves the SEC of the SBA. So it's the best region to be a regional administrator for. So.
All right, and you're here today in Miami at NABHOOD at the 30th anniversary. What are you looking forward to talking about?
Yeah, so actually I was here last year. The 29th anniversary, and NABHOOD is honestly such an amazing organization. I love hearing from the hotel owners themselves directly, and Andy runs a type ship here. You know, the hospitality, no pun intended, is one of the best. So this is one of the favorite conferences I go to. And what I'm really excited about is talking to the hotel owners about some of the things that we've been doing with the SBA. And a big part is the decoupling of the 7A from the 504, which effectively increased the SBA loan limit from $5 million all the way up to $10 million. So, really trying to hammer that point that we're doing everything we can under President Trump's administration to make sure that we're getting capital out to these small businesses, to these hotel owners.
Yeah, I saw the Twitter X post by the SBA director she put out there. So let's dive in a little bit deeper. So we've got 504, 7A. This really matters to hotel owners. It may not be exactly the limits that we wanted, but explaining a little bit more why it's groundbreaking and how much effort it took. And I think the program just opened up July 4th, right? I think it was on the birthday.
July 4th. So on America's 250th anniversary, what Administrator Kelly Loeffler really wanted to do is she wants to make sure that we're doing what the SBA is supposed to do. It's supposed to get capital out the door to these small businesses to help them grow. Because at the end of the day, small businesses are the backbone of the American economy. I think 99% of all businesses are considered small businesses. So we do a lot at the SBA.
Right.
And one thing is we've been capped, unfortunately. It takes Congress to act and to increase the loan limits.
Right.
So we've been stuck at $5 million for a while. And as we all know, $5 million is not what it used to be.
Correct.
So through our own internal systems and processes, we were able to look at it. We have an amazing team at the SBA. Thomas Kimsey, he's the associate administrator for capital access. He's been in banking, especially in the government.
30 plus years, I think.
30 plus years.
Yeah.
So he was able to look at our SOPs and figure out that, hey, we could just decouple it, which would effectively, as long as you do $5 million of the 7A, you can then go and get a $5 million of the 504. And for those that don't know, the 7As, think of it as like the big umbrella. It covers everything, right? Working capital, acquisitions, you name it, you can kind of do with the 7A, while the 504 is specifically for fixed assets.
Right.
So real estate, equipment. So it's going to be a big tool to help hotel owners acquire bigger properties and bigger make bigger purchases. But it's one thing I have to say is working in the federal government, you hear, especially if you're starting off, and you're trying to buy your first hotel, you hear 7A, 504, what's that? There's a lot of nuances in it, but I think what the SBA does so great is we also fund these things called our resource partners, which they're basically free business consultants. The biggest one is the small business.
They're like mentors for small business.
Mentors, right? And they can help walk you through this, right? So that way, if you have any questions, obviously go to the SBA.gov, and you can learn all about our loan programs there. But we have
SBA DC. What is it? Development centers, or what are the local?
So it's called Small Business Development Centers. It's SBDCs. They are tied to the university systems. So the SBA, we fund them 50%, and then the state also funds them another 50%. So you're already paying with them with your taxpayer dollars, and they can help you kind of go over a business plan, work on your profit loss statements, and also figure out what's a good business for you too. So they're full service business consultants.
And they're all over the state, because I know Jacksonville, Orlando, even Sarasota has a branch, Tampa, Miami. All where all the universities are, Atlanta, Athens, Macon.
I actually just walked since we're in Miami, the FAU one's actually right down there. So I passed on my walk over. So yeah, it's an amazing resource that we have for these business owners.
Right, and it's for any business, small business, anything under 500 employees and $250 million, I think, of revenue, something like that, right?
Yeah.
But people also can borrow $50,000, $100,000, $200,000. It's not.
It's not $5 million or $10 million right now. You can borrow anything you actually need, right? We also have another thing called microloans. So let's just say, you want to.
And those are under 50 grand or 10 grand?
Under 50 grand, exactly. So we have a lot of tools to help small business owners. But I think the biggest one is the decoupling of the 7A and the 504, especially for hotel owners, because everything, hotels minimum are going to cost what?
Yeah. Well, we were upstairs and we were talking to this, and she's thinking about that small fan business.
Yeah.
And I was like, you should apply for an SBA loan if she's only looking for a couple of $1,000s. If she's eligible and she's got the criteria, right?
Yeah, she got the criteria. And you know what? If you're starting off a business by yourself, you got to have a team, right? And that's what the SBA is going to provide. It's going to provide that team, whether it's with one of our resource partners, or you can go directly to the SBA. You go to our website. We have district offices all across the country, right? So we have one in South Florida, one in North Florida, and they service the entire state, right? So we also have a team of people that can help you too and walk you through the process. And even afterwards, that's where the district office can come in too. So if you have any questions about your loan, any problems, you can come to the SBA too.
You know, during COVID, it was a different time.
Yep.
That's when you lend money. But now it's really for small business, right? And that's what's geared towards, and that's what the current administration is working towards, making sure they deploy capital. Is there anything in particular that you're looking forward to in the next couple of weeks and couple of months that SBA is deploying?
One thing is, since we're in Florida, there's a lot of people don't know about this too. With the SBA, you brought up COVID and the economic disaster loans. We are also the largest lender of federal disaster aid after any natural disaster or man-made disaster. We help deploy capital for business owners, homeowners, and renters too.
Right.
So, you know,
everybody under the sun.
Everyone under the sun. So God forbid a hurricane comes through Florida, your hotel, your home gets damaged, or your car.
Yeah.
The SBA actually has a team on the ground. We ramp up. We hire a team to come down to that disaster site and help people apply for these SBA loans.
Right.
And they're different. So
and they're low interest loans.
Low interest loans. Actually, it's such an amazing tool that we have, and it's one of the coolest capabilities. Especially, you know, I got into government to help people.
Sure.
And being a part of the SBA with the disaster loan program, I think it's a very impactful tool to help people get back on their feet.
Right.
And it's cool too because it even helps the renters, right? Because at the end of the day, we know that if you're a business owner, you rely on your employees.
Yes,
They're the biggest part of your team, you know? You took the risk, you took out the loan, you started the business, but your employees are the ones that run it on a day-to-day. So we got to make sure that they can get back to your business to help you ramp up and continue to grow. So.
So how long have you been with the SBA now?
Yeah, so I started with the SBA January 20th, 2025.
Oh, so day one.
Day one of the new administration, and I couldn't be prouder. I think we're doing a lot of great things at the SBA. And even when you look at it, one thing that the SBA was created back in 1953 with General Eisenhower, he became president, right? And he understood that the small businesses were the backbone of the defense sector. So we're doing a lot of things to kind of go back to that core mission of the SBA.
Right.
And a big push is how do we help, coming from the top with President Trump, how do we onshore more jobs and how do we onshore more manufacturing? So one thing that we've done is we increased our SBA guarantee. So for those that don't know, the SBA is actually, for most of the loans, except the disaster, we're not the ones actually lending.
Correct.
What you do is you go to your bank. You apply through the bank with their SBA program, and then when the bank lends you the money, if they follow the system correctly, the proper steps, God forbid the business goes under, the SBA guarantees a percentage of the loan. Typically, it's around 75%. But
sometimes less.
Sometimes less, yeah. But what we've done is we've increased it to 90% for manufacturing. So NICS code.
So that's 31. A big new push. Is the manufacturing?
It's a big new.
So why the manufacturing push? Why is the administration willing to do this extra step?
Yeah. So one of the things is, at the end of the day, we figured out, you know, unfortunately, the policies of the past haven't really worked out. When you offshore your jobs for cheaper labor, cheaper products, we realized after COVID is, hey, we need a strong industrial base right here in our country. So we're trying to bring that back. We want to make sure we can manufacture everything from furniture in North Carolina to aerospace down here in Florida. We want to make sure we are having a strong manufacturing culture. And also we want to change the perception of manufacturing. Everyone thinks dirty jobs and, you know, dungy warehouse, but that's not the case. I tour manufacturing floors all the time. They're cool, new, exciting, and also with the use of AI, a lot of these manufacturing is very fascinating. So a big push is how do we bring back manufacturing? How do we have these jobs? And at the end of the day, a strong manufacturing base in the United States is only going to help us all.
So it helps national security.
Helps national security.
So it could be anything from like you know, test swabs to vinyl gloves to solar cells to drones. It could be anything, right?
You name it.
Right. What else are you excited about in your role? And
Yeah. So
you tour a lot of factories, so any stories you want to share?
Well, just the innovation at the end of the day. We toured one factory actually in St. Pete, and it's a 3D printing. And he started off, and he has this amazing concept. And I don't know if I could say the business right off the top, but his concept was like, hey, we're going to start off with this. And he took out an SBA 504 loan to purchase the robots that he needed. And he started off making furniture, right? For Walmart, Target, Lululemon.
Right.
And now he is making unmanned boats for Department of War, drone body shells for the Air Force, and he's able to take these robots anywhere in the country and use physical AI, which you go down a rabbit hole of physical AI. It's pretty cool. He explains it a lot better than I could, so I'm not even going to try. But you could take any idea and turn it into a reality with physical AI and with these robots. So within 5 days, he's able to produce a boat that the Navy SEALs wanted him to produce to perfect specs and have it out there and deployed.
No, it's like you said, it's a brave new world, brave new frontier. And just because SBA since 1953 doesn't mean they don't invest in AI or in technology, right?
Yep.
So you've traveled at least the southern part of the country, right? What is the profile of the average borrower? The average small business, or is there one? And the reason I say this is because I think some people out there think, well, who wants to apply for a government guarantee, or who wants to bother with that? It's too much paperwork, or the auditor, or the underwriter. What's your advice to that person?
As we increase our own technology capacity, so one thing that we've done recently is we under Administrator Kelly Loeffler, we hired an amazing team. We have a new CIO, Hartley Codwell is his name. He put in systems and processes that actually streamline the process on the back end of the SBA. Every day, I feel like we're moving at the speed of business for the first time in this administration, and especially in the SBA.
Well, she's a private business owner.
She's a private business owner. So
very successful.
Very successful, private business owner, charter financial analyst too, first one in the Senate, first one to ever be elected. So yeah, we're doing some amazing work, and we're really putting in this process to actually streamline it. So even if you go to our website, go to sba.gov, check it out. Before it used to be, the definition of bureaucracy website. I couldn't find anything on that website. Now it's streamlined. We're trying to really focus on the customer journey. So what I say is...
And the American taxpayer is the customer.
And the American taxpayer is the customer. And at the end of the day, what the SBA is here for is if you have an idea, a dream, and you want to turn it into reality, you need a team. You need attorneys, you need a CPA, you need a banker, you need the SBA at the end of the day. So if you have an idea, you want to start a business, or you want to grow your business, reach out to the SBA. Find a bank that participates in the SBA loan program. Reach out to your SBDC or resource partners and go to our website. There's a lot more things that are out there that the SBA does, and we're changing it all the time, whether it's increasing our loan limit from 5 million to 10 million, whether it's doing 90% guarantees for manufacturing and also food safety too. So for grocery stores and
there's a particular code on manufacturing, right? There's a US.
Yeah. So it's the NICS code. It's National Industry Standards. I forgot the full acronym, but it's 31 through 33. So that covers everything from, your meat processing plants, ammo, right? You name it. It's a long list, right? So it starts with 31 through 33, and then in between, there's a lot of manufacturing industries that are eligible for that 90%.
So we've talked about the resources at Small Business Administration, online or in person. We've talked about 504 7A. We've talked about other alternative business entrepreneurs. Is there anything I'm missing in the kitchen cabinet of SBA? Anything else that SBA does? I mean, you've got the mentors. I think is it SCORES program or something like that?
SCORE program. So for our resource partners, we have the Small Business Development Centers. We have SCORE. SCORE is senior executives, right? And what their job is literally that uncle has been in business for free, and they're business professionals that started a business, sold their business, and now they're like that.
So it's former small business owners or executives giving back, kind of like veterans give back to veterans when they return, right?
And we also have VBOC, which is a Veterans Business Outreach Center. So they help veterans, whether it's on base, they actually go to bases and help people whether they transition out, like, hey, you want to buy a business, you want to start a business, how can we help you? So it's specifically for veterans, the VBOC. And we also have Women's Business Centers, which is another program out there too, and they're more in malls and things like that, kind of more target audience. But I think we have just so many resource partners and so many options out there to help the business, because at the end of the day, like, owning your own business, whether it's even yourself. If you're a solopreneur, right, and you're able to provide for your family, put a roof over your head, you're living the American dream. Or if you get to that 501 employee and you're no longer a small business, you are also living the American dream. And that's what the SBA is here for. It's to literally that gambit, right, from that solopreneur to the company with 500 employees, right? We're here to help you all and to make everyone successful. And at the end of the day, that's the best part of the job is I get to see this firsthand, and it inspires me all the time whenever I'm out on the road talking to these people.
Small Business Week is in May, but I think you highlighted a bunch of small businesses around the country, and they're all ages. You have young entrepreneurs, but you have older entrepreneurs who, recycled their career or just made up a new career.
It's an honor to be in this position, travel around the Southeast, and when you look at it, like the Southeast we got Florida, Tennessee, South Carolina, North Carolina, they're all in the top 10 for fastest growing. Same with like Alabama. All my states have seen an influx of people moving in.
Right.
And on top of that, now with the passage of the One Big Beautiful Bill, I think people are really seeing the advantages of moving to the South and taking advantage of the tax code that President Trump really pushed, right? So the worker family tax cut has done amazing things. I think we could talk for like 2 hours about everything that we're doing to help small businesses, but at the end of the day, it's an honor to be in this position to help these small businesses. And please, if you want to learn more about the SBA, please reach out. Visit our website at sba.gov where you can learn more. We even have videos and things like that can talk about different programs that we have too. So, and also follow Administrator Kelly Loeffler on social media, on X, LinkedIn, and you can also visit your local district office on LinkedIn too. So each district office, no matter where you live, we have a post where you can learn about our different programs that are going on. You can learn about Are You Lender Ready, which can actually teach you how to apply for a bank loan and things like that. So
I really appreciate Tyler coming out, and the administrator actually was at our last meeting in DC in the fall. So look, if anything, AHOA and NABHOOD and other people, there are a lot of government resources out there. And there's lots of resources out there, again, that you're the American taxpayer, you're paying for these resources, take advantage of what you need and where you want to go next. So I really appreciate Tyler coming out, and I'll see you next time on the next podcast. Thank you.